What is going on, beautiful people of the world? My name is Garrett Wolf, and I am the host of the #1 podcast for people who are trying to go from saggy flabs to six-pack abs. I've built my body over the last 8 years, and in the last 3 years, I've helped hundreds of online clients shred unwanted fat and embody the best version of themselves. Now, let's jump right into today's show. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Alpha Movement Podcast. This is the #1 show for people who are trying to go from saggy flabs to six-pack abs, all without giving up the most enjoyable aspects of their life. And in today's episode, I want to talk to you guys about the evolution of the 30-second microwavable protein cupcake slash brownie. I don't know what you would call it. It's kind of like a protein cake. You make it in a bowl, it's 30 seconds, it's literally incredibly easy, and I came up with this recipe through various trial and error over the past 2 days, and I think I've perfected the recipe, and I thought that I would share it with you guys, my glorious podcast audience, in case you want to make a delicious protein cake at your house in just 30 seconds. It's super easy. It can be made from just, different household ingredients that you might have at your house, and the reason that I'm evolving this sort of recipe is it because, just to catch you guys up with a little bit of context, I'm doing some calorie jumping over yesterday and today so that I can go out with my friends tonight, have a bunch of extra calories, have a bunch of leftover calories without missing out on like the most enjoyable aspects of my life, right? Like going out, like eating sweets, like being able to eat cupcakes, like being able to eat out with your friends. It's all about implementing things, tactics, and strategies into your life to make it so you can actually do these things and not give up your whole life and dedicate everything, every waking breath, every waking hour of your life to fitness. You can actually do both, figure out a way to get a little bit of balance in there. And so I've been perfecting this recipe over the last 2 days, and I think I got it. I got the ingredients written down. It's super duper easy. You can do it with just one little trip to the grocery store. You may not have a couple of these ingredients because they're kind of weird, a little bit specialized, but if you can pick up these ingredients and buy them in bulk, you can really utilize them to create and make the greatest protein brownies and any kind of protein sweets. Really, you can make them into cookies, you can make them into cupcakes, you can make them into cakes, you can make them into brownies, you can even make them into ice cream, and they all require kind of the same ingredients. This stuff's been going pretty viral around the TikTok scene. That's where I first saw it, all these little recipe videos, but I don't really specialize in like little short form baking videos like that. So I thought I'd put it all together into a little podcast for you guys today and just share my thoughts, share my recipe. Why not? Maybe you'll get some value. Maybe one of you guys will try it out at home and it'll change your life like it changed mine, because I love sweets. I love baked goods. I love brownies. I don't really love sweets like candies or like sugary things like that. I don't love those, except for right now when I'm on prep, obviously. But when it comes to like baked goods, probably my favorite baked good is like a brownie sundae with ice cream on top. And so was trying to figure out a way to eat like a brownie slash cake type of thing without having it be so unhealthy. So, because one of the main problems, I'll get into it in a sec, is that hyper palatable foods are so bad because, number one, they're so tasty. Number two, they have a whole lot of sugar and a whole lot of calories. And number three, you can kind of just eat them over and over again without too much ramification until obviously later that day when you get the insulin crash. But with something like a protein brownie, it fills you up. It's delicious. It's tasty. You get the same amount of volume as you do from one of those little tiny brownies. It has way less calories, it's way more satiating, and so it's honestly a lot more satisfying to eat this way and kind of go about it in this protein manner, because obviously protein is the god macronutrient. It is the best macronutrient. You need protein to survive, and it's honestly just the most satiating nutrient. It does the best kind of breakdowns for your body because it goes into like a little bit of different kind of amino acid chains doing a lot of different functions in your body. And so again, I just wanted to share this little recipe with you guys real quick. And in any case, if you guys enjoy this podcast or you take some value from what I have to say, please screenshot my face, share it to your Instagram stories, tag me at _Garrett Wolf, and I will reshare it to my story and send you a free gift. Other than that, guys, the evolution of my protein brownie is I first saw it on a Will Tennyson video. If you guys watch him, he does all kinds of food eating challenges and he's a bodybuilder as well. He's all into the protein baking goods. And what he did was just put a scoop of protein powder in a bowl, mix it up with some water, and then cook it like that. So I tried that myself yesterday morning. It comes out all right. Comes out like pretty flaky, kind of dry, a little bit hard to swallow. You wouldn't really want to eat it without a beverage. It doesn't really have the same kind of hit that a moist cake, nice like moist brownie would have. It's kind of crumbly, kind of breaky, and it's just all around not that satisfying. Though it is all right. So I thought to myself, I was like, how can I combine this Will Tennyson microwave brownie with some of the other recipes that I have saved on my TikTok, where they kind of make protein, different kind of things, protein cupcakes, protein cookies, protein ice cream. It's all kind of using the base same ingredients. So I messed around with it a little bit. The second iteration was just a scoop of yogurt with some water, protein powder, and then a dash of salt. I tried that. It was better. It was pretty decent. It was good. The yogurt added some volume. It added some stick, made it stick together nice and, how a brownie should. A brownie isn't really crumbly. It's not dry. It's kind of moist, and it helped it out a little bit in that department. But then it was missing a few things. It was still missing a few things. It was still missing that cake-like texture, that really moist, like kind of squishes in your mouth, kind of like a sponge. And so I thought of a few things. I thought, what's a good binding agent? A good binding agent I use in one of my protein cookie recipes is xanthan gum. So I put a little bit of xanthan gum in there. I tried that. It was nice. It was better. It stuck together. It did what it needed to do, but it was still missing that little bit of a hit, that moist, like melty cake hit. And so I thought about the different protein recipes that I did throughout my time, especially on prep. I utilize them a lot. And I thought about a specific chocolate chip protein cookie recipe where the main ingredient is unflavored um, gelatin. So unflavored zero sugar gelatin. So we're trying to minimize the calories here, right? So it's basically gelatin is actually a protein source, believe it or not. And so if you take half a packet of gelatin and add it to this protein brownie, it really gives it that voluptuous kind of sponge like appearance, and it really makes it kind of melt in your mouth and squish in your mouth like a sponge. And so this is the final recipe I came up to, or I came up with, excuse me. I'll put it in the show notes. I'll put it in the description on YouTube so that you guys can steal the recipe right from me and try it, because not only did I add xanthan gum and a little bit of gelatin powder, but I also added a few things to kind of spice it up. So number one ingredient is the scoop of protein powder. Obviously, use EPN protein powder is the best tasting protein powder on the market, and you can use code FREAK for 10% off at checkout. But in any case, protein powder, baking powder. Baking powder is a necessity if you want the volume. If you want it to it really makes it kind of splash. It really makes it kind of rise, almost like dough in bread that you would make in an oven. That's what baking powder is really going to do. So just a little dash of baking powder. Mind you, I don't measure any of these ingredients. So when you're reading this, don't expect measurements, but obviously it's just one scoop of protein powder, kind of just a dash of baking powder. Then as much artificial sweetener as you want, but it's better if you put it in powdered form. So you can either add or not add artificial sweetener depending on how sweet you want the cake to be. Obviously, cake is meant to be pretty sweet, so I add probably somewhere around 20 grams, maybe even 15 grams of artificial sweetener. Not a whole lot, but just enough to give it that kick. Kind of the same amount that you would expect in a protein powder like a Quest bar or something like that. Not powder, excuse me, a protein bar like a Quest bar or a Quest cookie. You basically put that much of artificial sweetener, and the powder form is the best form so that it doesn't get all grainy and chunky. Then a little dash of salt, a couple pinches of butter extract. This doesn't add any calories, but it adds, again, more of that moist, kind of spongy texture. We're just kind of trying to get that cake-like texture. So the butter extract really helps with that, and it also brings out the flavors. It's a flavor enhancer, so it doesn't taste all bland, just like the protein powder. It gives it a nice little aftertaste and a nice spongy like consistency when you eat it. Then obviously the yogurt. You can use any kind of yogurt, but I use fat-free. I think it's Chobani, like 2% yogurt, something like that. And it's like 90 calories every 1/4 a cup. So if you use just a little teaspoon or a tablespoon, just literally just a slab, like probably 20 grams of yogurt you throw in there. Adds, again, nice volume, nice texture, nice moist factor to the cake. Then some xanthan gum, like half of a teaspoon. You don't want to go overboard, or else it's gonna come out like hard. You don't want it to become hard, so you want just like half a tablespoon of xanthan gum you put in there. Mix it together. This is, again, a binding agent. It's really gonna clump everything together and give you that spongy like consistency, so you don't end up with a grainy cake that you can barely swallow like you would get if you didn't add anything but water to it, which was like the first iteration. And then the optional ingredient here at the bottom, that's all the ingredients you need. An optional ingredient is sugar-free maple syrup, because, again, it's just a binder. It sticks everything together, makes it nice and moist, and makes sure that like you don't end up with crumbs or any crumbliness, because we're trying to match the cake consistency or the brownie like consistency. And those are all the ingredients. So going through it one more time: protein powder, baking powder, artificial sweetener, salt, butter extract, yogurt, xanthan gum, and optional sugar-free maple syrup. And I've been making that, again, because I'm doing calorie jumping. I've made probably 8 brownies or 8 microwave microwavable protein, whatever you want to call it, cakes in the microwave over these last 2 days, because I'm just trying to hit my protein intake for these 2 days so that I can go out with my friends on Friday and we can even go out to dinner, we can get drinks, and I can not worry about the calories because I've saved my calories from Thursday and Friday all for this one occasion. And I've done that by eating things like this: the protein brownie, egg whites, or just lean 99% lean ground beef, chicken, steak, all these meals that are only pretty much 100% protein, so that I save my fat and my carbohydrates for when I go out tonight, which is Friday night. So I'm super excited for that, because I don't want to compromise my actual life and just get consumed by this fitness life. Even being a bodybuilder, right? I'm stepping on stage. There are tactics and strategies you can implement into your life so that it's not so terrible, so that you're not only focusing on fitness, so that you're not only like, so you're not the guy that's like, whoa, I can't go out, I'm trying to get leaner. Like, who wants to be that guy? Nobody wants to be that guy. We all want to go out. We all dilute ourselves into thinking that we don't, but we all do. And if you can implement some of these strategies, it makes life a whole lot more better. It makes life a whole lot more worth living, and it makes it a lot more of a sustainable approach, because you're not going to hit these kind of crashes or these kind of spurs of motivation, and then these crashes where you're like, fuck it, I don't care, I'll just have a cheat day, I don't even give a fuck, and you didn't prepare for it. That's how you start backtracking on your goals. That's how you start taking some steps back, and that's how you fall victim to negative momentum. And so if you implement things like this, it might help you out, and I really, really hope it does. So that being said, guys, if at any point during this podcast episode you enjoyed what I have to say, or you took some value from this podcast, please screenshot my face, share it to your Instagram stories, tag me at _Garrett Wolf, and I will reshare it to my story and send you a free gift. Other than that, guys, the full recipe will be in the show notes or in the description on YouTube. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you try it. You can microwave it for 30-second intervals. That's why it's the 30-second brownie. But depending on your microwave wattage, I've tested out different time intervals: 30 seconds, 1 minute, even up to 1 minute and 30. And when I do up to 1 minute and 30, it doesn't burn, so you don't have to worry about that. But it depends on your microwave power. So it's going to be either 30 seconds all the way up to 1 minute and 30 seconds, depending on the wattage of your microwave. Try it in 30-second intervals, figure out which one works for you, and make sure you don't overcook that brownie. But again, I haven't figured out how to overcook it. I haven't gone past 1.5 minutes. So let me know how it goes. Let me know how it works. And again, I hope you all hold on. Excuse me. In any case, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you all in the next podcast episode. Peace, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hopefully you got some value. If you did get value and you want to learn a little bit more about how you can go from saggy flabs to six-pack abs, just head over to my Instagram at _Garrett Wolf. DM me the word six-pack, and I'll reach out to you and see if I can help. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and I will see you all in the next podcast episode. Peace.